Hello Flosstubers! Welcome back to my channel. My name's Belushi Stitches and today I'm going to be doing a video on how I start a piece. I've seen a few questions in a few groups that I'm in where people are saying how do you work out where you start or where do you start? So I tend to start my most of my pieces from the top left and work my way through each page and sort of work my way down. But the one particular whip I'm currently working on, it's got a blank background, which means the top left isn't actually stitchable. So I've had to start in the middle, which is really odd for me. But I just wanted to show you guys the process really of how I work out where to start and how to work out my fabric. Now, there are loads and loads of videos on YouTube that can explain in more detail how to work out what fabric size you need. There are calculators all over the internet. I'm just going to show you my one for this one particular project and see where we are from there. So let's begin. Okay, so I am working on I'm going to be working on a project called Astronaut by Unconventional cross stitch. I will put the link down below in the description box, and please go and check out their patterns. They're absolutely fantastic. The Astronaut one, which I'll show a picture of, is absolutely amazing. I've been looking for something like that for a really long time, so I finally found what I'm looking for. So I'm really excited. So yeah, I'm normally a one project at a time girl. However, now I've got 4 that I'm currently going to be working on or start soon. So this is going to be whip number 3. Okay, so what I have here is some 18 count aida. 18 count is my go-to. I really enjoy 18 count, which is fantastic. It's black aida because the picture for this one is on a black background, or very dark background, and I think it'll be better to have dark fabric in this one. So this is what I've gone for. So before I unfold, the way that I'm working this one out, and again, like I said, there are lots of different ways to do this. Please don't rely on this. This is how I do mine, but there are lots of other ways and possibly better ways of calculating this. And also, depending on how much the sizes that you have, like regarding the fabric that you have around the outside, different people want different amounts. So this is my workings. So this particular piece is 150 stitches across and 200 stitches up. And if you heard that noise, that's my cat going bonkers, running upstairs. So what I then do, sorry about the shadow here. So what I then do is I work out, so 150 times 200, that's the total size, 150 across, 200 up. So because I'm using 18 count, it means there are 18 stitches available per inch of fabric. So if you divide 150 by 18, then it works out how many inches you need for the actual finished piece, so the stitchable area. So I've divided 150 by 18 and I've got 8.33. I've divided 200 by 18 and I've got 11.8, 11.11. That's the size of the stitchable area. So obviously you don't want to start right at the top of your fabric because you won't have a border. You need some fabric around the outside. So what I tend to do is I add 6 inches up and 6 inches across, all the way around. So what you end up with here is the 150 plus 3 inches. Here you have 3 inches, and then at the top you have 3 inches, and here you have 3 inches extra. So you have these 3 inches all the way around. Very rough, apologies. So this is your stitchable area, plus 3 here and 3 here, means that you're adding 6 to the stitchable area. The same here, so I'm adding 3 here and 3 here, so adding 6 to the stitchable area. So going back down to here, you've got that's how much for the actual stitched area, plus the 6 inches, which is 3 inches both sides, and then you come to 14.33, and the same here, 11.11 plus 6 inches is 17.11 inches. So I know that I need a fabric that is at least, preferably much more, but depends how much you want. Also, you don't want to have all this excess fabric around your hoop or around your Q-snap or whatever, however you hold your piece. So I need something at least 14 by 17 inches. So what I did, I went on the old Amazon and found some 18 count Aida, and this is 15.5 by 17.5, and that matches this. So 14 I need at least, which is fine because 15 covers that, and I need 17.11 and I've got 17.5. So it might be a bit close, but I know I still have at least I still have just under 3 inches around each side of my pattern, which is enough for me. I know I can frame that afterwards. So that is what I've done so far. That's literally as far as I've got. Hi, I'm back. I just went to get my trusty ruler. I've also got a tape measure available, but we'll see where we end up. Okay, so remove the hair. This is my black Aida. So I'm just going to unfold here, and we're just going to check how wide this is. So I've got my sort of quilter's measure. Obviously, tape measures just as good. So here we are. Hopefully you can see most of where we are. So if I work my way across here, that is 17, it's actually 17.5 inches. I don't think there's a selvage on this side, but it is cut not quite on the straight. So actually, if we measure it right at the top, we've got 17.25. If we measure it right at the bottom, we've got 17 and just over 17.5. So actually this side is a bit wonky. Instead of it being like this, really that's probably more like how it should be. That's how it should be. But it's been cut off to the side a bit. But I think that's really what it should look like. So we know we've got enough going sideways, and then going this way, we've got 16. So we know that that definitely covers this, is fine. And we also then know that it definitely covers what we need here. So this is my shorter side. This side is my this is 16. So this way is my shorter way. So I'm going to turn it round because there is a selvage. Okay. That's good, that's good, that's good. But it still works out absolutely fine. That's 16, so 15.5 would be around here. So this is my shorter side, so I'm going to have it this way. And then this is my longer side, and I just keep checking, just obsessively checking, because I'm just paranoid about it. I have to make sure that it's right. Okay, so this is how it's going to look when I do the working. And as I said to you before, I've got 14.3 inches is what I needed the fabric to be, but actually the stitchable width across the bottom is actually 8.3. So even if we go to 8.5, there's 8.5, and you've got plenty of excess that side. And if I move across this side, there's 8.5, you've got plenty of excess this side. So actually quite a small stitchable area with this huge sort of at least 3 inch border around the outside. So I know there's plenty here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, what I tend to do is just, give me 1 second. Okay, so what I tend to do here is find the midpoint of the fabric. So if I wanted to start in the middle, the best way to do this, and this is why it's, you have to be absolutely certain that you're getting this right, bearing in mind that this is slightly wonky. I know that this is a selvage end here, and you can tell that, I don't know if you can see on the camera. Yeah, so this section here. So you know that that is straight. The other side isn't necessarily straight, so I'm going to make sure that this side is the important one that I do. So I'm going to go up here and fold this one in half. So we know we found at least the midpoint on that side. And you can see it's not straight because this is all over the place up here. So you can tell that that is not being cut straight. So in the half, that side. And then also fold in the half this side, making sure that whatever is your shortest corner between these two, if it's cut off like this, make sure that you go by your shortest one. Make sure you give yourself plenty of space. So I'm going to fold in half again, and then you get this folded bit here. This is right in the middle of the fabric here. So all I tend to do, just going to bring the camera in a bit. All I tend to do is get the fabric here and finding a hole somewhere in here. There you go. So that's finding a stitch right in the corner of the fabric here, which when I then unfold, now I appreciate it's going to be around the other way, there we go. That's the midpoint. I have now found the midpoint of the fabric. Excellent. So I could start stitching from there, no problem. But because I'm just extra careful all the time, I've been caught out before where perhaps I haven't counted quite right. So I make sure that I definitely have enough stitches. So literally from this midpoint, because I'm either starting the midpoint for this one project that I've got, or maybe for this project as well, because the background is so dark I might not even stitch the background, I haven't decided yet. What I need to do is either find this bit, but check that you have enough stitches up and down, and I literally count them one at a time, and then put a pin, and I count them up, put a pin, just so I know where I am. And then that also helps you, between these two gaps where you're going to put pins, count this way to get to a point up here where you know that that is your top left, for instance. And then I would double check, counting back and counting back here. So for instance, this is, I go back to my awful workings that were terribly drawn. If I go back to here, so this represents the midpoint, which is this pin. And I know that from this midpoint, if I go left, half of the 150 stitches is 75. So all I have to do is go 75 here. That's 200 for the whole thing. So 100 is this top section. So 75 this way, 100 this way. That's where I'm going to put my two pins. And then if you just go across 75 again, that's going to be your top. So you're essentially sketching out 1/4. And if when you sketch out 1/4, you can see that it matches all the others, or that you fold or you measure between there and there, there and there, there and there, you can check that then that the same measurement is available on all the others. So I wouldn't count out every single bit across and put pin here, pin in all corners and in the middle. I would just choose this quadrant, for instance. I start top left, so it makes sense for me to do this. And then you know that whatever that comes out as in terms of measurement, if you know you've got the same there, there and there, it's fine. If you know that you've got this measurement then here and here, it's absolutely fine as well. So I'm going to start counting, and I will not bore you with me counting out loud. So I'm going to pause the video, I'm going to count 75, and I'm going to count 100 up here, and then I might even count 75 across to find the top one. It depends how I feel. So I'll see you in a minute. Hello, I have returned. Okay, so pins. This is the midpoint that we saw a minute ago. I've counted 75 stitches this way. It doesn't look very much, does it? So that's 75 stitches. And I've counted up here 100 stitches. And then I've gone 75 this way. And that is my top left point. I've double checked by counting from here to here. And I've just double checked it over and over just to make absolutely certain. Black Aida as well is really hard to see. I really should have put something white underneath it, or something very light underneath it, like a lovely notepad. Would that have made a difference? Yes, that probably would have made quite a big difference to me. However, I didn't, so I took my time and worked it through, so that's fine. Okay, so just to double check what we can see, this is this section. So there to there is 4.5-ish. So if we just do 4.5 here, we know that that's covered. And the same this way round. If we go from midpoint up, I've got stuff in front of my table, so that's 5.5. So if we come here and we go 5.5 down, okay, so the stitchable area comes to approximately down here. Approximately down here. So I know that that is the top quadrant, and I know that that's absolutely fine. So my pattern on this one is, I honestly don't know if I'm going to stitch the background or leave it in the Black Aida. I just can't, I haven't decided yet. So what I'm going to do is think about it. Yeah, it's really weird to me to start in the middle, but I probably will, because then I can choose later on what to do. I don't want to do all this huge amounts of stitching for the background and then decide halfway through I can't be bothered, and then it would have warped the Aida a bit then when you've stitched. So if you take it out, it'll never look the same. So I think I'm going to have to really start in the middle, which is here. So the next thing I do is, just to make it really obvious so I can see it later, is I stitch in some fabric just so I know where I am. So I probably won't do that today, but let me show you what I've done on my other one. Hello, okay, I'm back. So I found my other piece, and what I've done on this, just trying to get it so that you can see. So instead of unfolding, this is how I keep my excess fabric on the hoop. Instead of unfolding everything, what I thought I would just show you is this. So hopefully we can find the camera somewhere. There we go. So that is a T that I've just stitched in, and that is basically just to show you the top middle quadrant split. So in here, where we have this, I will stitch just over a tiny amount, a T, so that it shows that's that side of the T, that's that side of the T, and that's the top. And again, if I'm starting top left, what I've done in here, which I might see if I can find a picture for you, is in this midpoint, I've decided whether this mid square here is to the right or to the left, and I've chosen on this one, I've chosen that this one that I have hooked on my needle is the right hand side. So this is the first bottom left stitch of this quadrant here. And so in this bit I will choose to do a little cross, and I will stitch into the fabric across in just some spare fabric, just some spare thread, just so that when I get to it, it should be what I'm expecting. If it's not, I've either counted wrong now or I've stitched wrong. Now I would rather do my counting wrong now, so that's why I keep counting. I probably go around this about 3 times just to be absolutely certain that it matches, and I measure things just to be absolutely certain. What you don't want is to stitch, get to the middle and realise you're off. So I do a lot of my work in the prep is here, so that when I'm stitching, I know I won't get to this midpoint and have done it wrong. I know I've already counted everything I need. But certainly I think that if you stitch a T into here that quite clearly separates across, here's the T, and then it quite clearly separates the two sides, and again in here, choose whether this, sorry, it's my cat again, choose before you start doing this counting and adding these pins, if you choose which side this one stitch is supposed to be and which top or bottom where it's supposed to sit, then you know where you are, and you can put a little cross in here and just stitch it in. So that's how I work that out. Now I don't, like I said, I tend to do everything top left, and I'm a bit of a wanderer when I'm a stitcher. I'm a cross-countryer, but I'm sort of cross-country by page or by particular section. I'll finish a page and I'll move on to the next page, but I'll sort of do a section here. I won't necessarily do the whole page. I might do the top and then sort of overlap onto page 2 and then come down here and do a bit. I sort of see how I feel, and if I'm stitching a really exciting particular section of a page, I will continue to do that because I want to see results. So yeah, I think for this one I'm starting in the middle, and I haven't even sorted out all my DMC yet. So all my DMC that are spare. So like I said, this is whip 3. So for whip 1, that is a kit, and that's already kitted. So all the DMC threads are already as part of the pack. With my whip 2, I need 13 colours. It's a grayscale, so it's just amazing. So I've taken those 13 colours out, and when I knew I was doing it, I bought those especially. So I know I've got enough for those. This is 85. This needs 85 colours, and what I have is my storage. So I'm now going to have on my laptop the pattern and the colours required, and I'm going to work my way through my DMC organisers, picking out the colours that I need. This is my sort of generic holding stash, and then putting it into this one. Now I bought this one the other day from Amazon, and it arrived, and I don't know what I did. I obviously didn't measure properly, did I? Because that is substantially smaller than those. So, however, this should probably hold 85 DMC threads quite nicely. So I'm going to pull out as many as I've got here, put them into here, and then this is going to be my organiser for my whip 3. And then the fabric, the hoop, I bought a couple of new hoops. I don't know what size, probably quite a small one for this one. And the organiser, the fabric, the hoop, the organiser will go into one particular project bag, and then I can just take that out as and when I need it. And this is quite a good size actually, when you only need 85. It's very light and it's very small, so much smaller than those. Anyway, it's very small, so it should be okay to sort of keep separate. if I'd done this bit first, then I would show you. Then I would show you a proper start. However, I haven't, so I won't. I might put it on. I may not. I don't know how. See how I feel. My fourth whip, which will be coming. I've got the fabric. Look at the size of this fabric. So this fabric, this black aida, is 15 by 17 inches, and this. Oh, that's unhelpful. So, okay, centimetres. This black aida is 39 by 45 centimetres, and this white aida is 100 by 110 centimetres. So, absolutely over double on some sections. So, my whip 4 is going to come, and that has, I think, probably 90 colours, and I don't have any threads for those. So, I will be seeing what else is spare in here after I've sorted out this one, whip 3 in here, and then otherwise I'll just be buying loads of stuff. So anyway, I digress. I hope that that was helpful to you in showing you how I find the parts, where to start, mid or top left or wherever, and the same principle no matter where you want to start. I hope that's been helpful. That's my way of doing it, and like I said, there are a lot of different ways that you could do this. Lots of different very helpful videos on YouTube and in some of the groups that we're in online. So if this has been helpful, please let me know. Please comment, like, subscribe to my channel. That'd be helpful. And I if you do have any queries, let me know. And this is the way that I work this out, and this has just been the way that I've done it for ages. I'm sure there are probably more technical ways of doing it, but this is very much my counting the stitches way of doing it. Okay, so I'm going to sign off now. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've made it to the end. As I said, please like, subscribe, comment, ask me anything, and hopefully see you on the next one. Take care. Thank you. Bye. Hello. So you may have just seen me stitching a couple of bits and pieces in here, and I just wanted to show you what I've done. So in my working out where to start video, I decided to, it might even be this video, I decided to start at the midpoint. So the one stitch that I had in my pin, the one sort of piece of fabric, the stitch under here that I had in this blue pin, which was the midpoint pin, was this one. So I'm literally going to put a pin straight in it. So that was my midpoint. So I said in my video that you have to choose where, when you pick your midpoint, when you fold all your fabric and you pick your midpoint, which quadrant that's going to go in. Is it going to go in this quadrant and be the bottom right? Or is it this quadrant and be the bottom left? This quadrant, is that going to be the top right, the last top right one? If it's in this bottom right quadrant, is that going to be the top left one? So you just have to make a decision. One stitch, either way, isn't going to, if you've done your calculations right, one stitch isn't going to make a difference in the overall effect of where your picture ends up, whether it's here or here. It's one stitch across won't make a difference. So I chose this stitch, this midpoint stitch, to be this top right quadrant up here. And so this stitch is the bottom left corner of this quadrant up here. Okay, so when I came to do this particular one, this one here is the midpoint. This colour is actually all of this as well, this whole line. But I knew if I started over here, I might just get a bit confused. So I've ignored the fact that I should have stitched in this same colour, stitches over here all the way along. I've just started in this particular bit here. So this is the bottom two stitches on this whole page that is up here. Those are the bottom two ones. And then I have carried on and gone, that's gone into this quadrant. And then that one as well is in this quadrant. But all of these are in this quadrant. So I just wanted to show, I hope that's clear. I don't know if that's clear or not. But I just wanted to show you that this was my midpoint stitch. And this is how it looks now, and I will just do what I want because I just wander around when I stitch. I try not to carry the thread very far, but I just wanted to try and give you an idea of how I start on this bit. So like I said, this should have gone all the way along here, but I didn't want to confuse myself. I wanted to know that this is the bottom left stitch of this whole quarter at the top right here. So that's it. So stitching on black aida is very difficult, you know. It looks quite grey in the video, but it's very, very dark. It's very tricky to see. I would definitely need a light, possibly a magnifying glass. But actually, once you start stitching, you can clearly see the stitches. You can clearly see, you know, if I start going across over, you know, two stitches, I'll be able to see I've done it wrong. So once you've done a little bit, it's quite easy really to get used to. But I think I definitely need a good light. So I hope that that's been helpful. Again, ask me if you have any queries or questions, and yeah, and I start with the loop method down here, which I'll put into another video. There are lots of videos on YouTube, you can just check that one out. But no tail, I just use one piece of fabric folded in, one piece of thread folded in half, and then I do the loop stitch in this one to anchor it down. But I'll show you that in another video. So okay, that's it. Bye.